Um, here's a good one. Well, actually, there's two here, but I guess I'll start with this one. This person goes sets and reps with moderate weight, and then they say 3 sets at 10 to 12 reps. Lifting heavy causes injury. And I actually replied to this comment, and I just said incorrect, and I got like 3 times as many likes as that was a
right. Because it is incorrect. If you want to do that, that's fine. You do that. At the there comes a certain point where arguing about this stuff is just stupid, because a lot of people have made up their mind, and there's a big like faith-based fitness culture out there. People just believe what they believe, and I don't care what anybody says. Well, then I can't help you. I've got thousands of hours coaching people. I've got a pretty good physiological background in this. And we don't find that works. We find that what we do works better. We do what we do because it works better, and we're constantly experimenting. I mean, every single client I have is in some sense a lab rat, right? Because once I get one of them to a certain point in their strength, and I get people very, very strong in their 60s, 70s, 80s, right? And then it gets really, really hard to advance people, just like it's hard to advance younger people once they get really strong. They get on the flat part of the strength curve. And what do you have to do? You have to experiment. You have to individualize. You have to figure out what works. You have to break through dams. You have to break through plateaus, right? So we do a lot of experimentation, and we find out what works. And I'll tell you what we've tried, even recently, in spite of everything that I've said, what we've tried that doesn't work, lots of high volume, doesn't work. It just makes things worse. It makes people sore, right? You find that we like sets of 8 for upper body movements. We like sets of 5 for squats and deadlifts, but we like them at proper loading and at proper tonnage. And we are really, really good at finding out what that is. We are really good at finding out what the necessary tonnage is for this lifter in front of us to get them stronger over time. And that's just one of the variables that we use. So yeah, that's a long-winded way of saying incorrect. But you do you.
This is another comment this will be the last one, but this is another comment that was basically in the same vein, but he's a little bit more, went a little bit more in depth with it. He said, as you age and are 50 plus, you need to be careful with lifting heavy. It raises blood pressure, so if you have any health issues, especially with the heart, lift lighter for reps. Lifting heavy in the long term is terrible for your joints, and yes, you can pop a blood vessel in the brain with all the straining, which could potentially kill you or give you a stroke.
Okay, so there's a couple of things there. This is a target-rich environment.
Yeah, I know. Exactly. I'm like, there's so many problems with this comment. Like,
honestly, folks, I don't know why you do this to yourself. I don't know why you post things like this without investigating what the actual facts are first.
Well, he doesn't have a profile picture, so that probably helps.
Right. This person gives, he gives me the unmistakable impression of a person who has not investigated that whereof he speaks at all. He hasn't looked into it at all. So first of all, you have to be really careful when you're lifting heavy weights. Duh. You have to be careful driving down to Walgreens too. Right?
Make sure you don't go into the wrong lane.
You have to be careful when you're dressing out for your tennis game. You have to be, no kidding how profound that you have to be careful. This is why we emphasize proper technique, proper progression, proper programming, and for anybody who can get it, coaching. No kidding, right? Hypertension. We have addressed this, again, so many times. There is a plethora of good information out there about strength training and hypertension, right? And what it all says, except for the stuff that's non-evidence-based and is being promoted by ignoramuses like you, is that you are completely incorrect, right? Except for one thing. Yes, strength training does transiently increase your blood pressure while you're under the bar. So does a hard turd and a good orgasm, right? You can't
poop or have sex. That's the new program. You can't lift weights. You can't poop. You can't have sex. Oh,
or sneeze, or sneeze, right? Or bear down doing anything else. Well, that's not my life. And And what we see in people who train for strength over time is that it's good for their blood pressure. Nobody ever gets hypertension from strength training, ever. And that's one of the myths that we addressed in our recent video as well.
Mhm.
And we cited literature to that effect. It is in fact the case that your blood pressure can go very, very high while you're training. But we have dealt with that issue at length. I have an article up, a very long article up, which was recently refeatured on the Starting Strength website, called the Valsalva and Stroke, on this very topic. And I guarantee you, I read more papers on this topic than my interlocutor that you just cited, right? So there is simply no extant evidence that this represents a danger to people in populations. Now, if you have a hidden berry aneurysm in your head, or arteriovenous malformation, or some sort of undiagnosed vascular anomaly somewhere in your body, can you pop a cork under the bar and die? Yep, no doubt about it. You can do that. That can happen to you. It can also happen to you while making whoopee, or moving rocks in your garden, or getting excited about, I don't know, seeing Justin Bieber in concert or whatever. I don't know, right? So nobody gets out alive. I don't know what to tell you. But does this happen in population? No. Millions and millions of old people lift heavy weights under Valsalva every single day. Where are the bodies?
They're hiding them.
Look at the National Electronic Injury Surveillance System. Where are the bodies? They're not there. We don't see this, right? So this is a fairy tale. It's a fantasy. It's a boogeyman, right? And when we do see it, and when we see it in the literature, it's never in the setting of a case series or a big study. It's always a case report, which is the standard format in the biomedical literature for the reporting of fantastically rare clinical entities. And that's what this is. It's a fantastically rare clinical entity. You have a better chance of dying in a plane crash or from an asteroid impact than you do under the bar from popping a cork.
Mic
So
drop.
next,